Good morning and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, Ange Postecoglou says I can't ignore it. He admits losing his temper over certain players' actions. Cameron Carter-Vickers says he's aiming to become a mainstay of the USA team, and Ange Postecoglou is set with talks with 3 key players in the first team. That's all in today's Celtic FC news. So back to the main story, where Ange Postecoglou says that he cannot ignore it. He admits losing his temper with players. So it's not usually around about game time that he uses his player. He went on to say, this is what the manager says: if I see behaviour that I don't think fits in, I'll make sure that the player and the group knows about it. So he basically calls players out, and I think that's one of the reasons that the big grumpy Greek had left. That's my role. I cannot let it go, and I cannot be nice. That's what everyone expects of me. If someone displays something that I don't think fits in, I have no hesitation in telling them it needs to be addressed. Postecoglou hopes that there's no need to spit feathers this lunchtime today as Celtic take on St Johnstone with their incredible league form. So Postecoglou just tells it as it is, and that's what we like about him as a manager. Talking about Celtic players, Cameron Carter-Vickers is aiming to become a USA mainstay, and he says that being at Celtic can further his career. The Celtic centre-back appeared obviously in the World Cup and was applauded for his performances, and he got his first starting lineup. So becoming a regular for his national side, he's been more hungry for international recognition. He said, it was a great experience being at the World Cup, the world's biggest football tournament, and it was great for me personally. I got to play in one game which I enjoyed. I learned things from it. Overall, it was a good experience. There is a real tight bond between the coaches and the players within the group. When you're at the tournament, it's like the World Cup, you're away for 4 or 5 weeks. The group, you get to know people, otherwise it can be a horrible time. The USA group definitely has that, has a nice tight community. We get on well socially, which is generally good, and Americans are quite patriotic, so in their performances at the World Cup. So Carter-Vickers went on to say that his teammates were addressed by President Biden prior to their outings in Qatar, and he then went on to say he was just as motivational as Ange Postecoglou. I don't think Biden's motivational at all, sorry, big man. He's giving a wreck at the best. Anyway, Celtic are hoping to open talks with Joe Hart, Aaron Mooy, and who else? Turnbull, yeah, that's the 3 players that he wants to have talks with. They're obviously, their contracts are obviously coming up in the next year or so, and it would be easy. The manager said it's all about having discussions with the players. I need to know where they're at and where their heads are at. Last year we had talks with Bitton and Rogic with a year left on their contract. It would have been easy for them to roll on for another year. But after having discussions with them, we came to the conclusion where they felt there were other opportunities for the players. They wanted to explore the opportunities and moved on, which was fine. Obviously, because the Celtic manager had got players in, so you can actually see that it's the continuous improvement of the team and the continuous talking to players to find out, are you want to stay here, or is there something else that you would like to try, so that they can then plan ahead for that. With the 3 guys talking about Hart, Mooy and Turnbull, I'm consistently talking to them about their ambitions and what their ambitions are. I want to make sure that that every step we are looking after the players' interest, but also looking after the club's interest too. Every decision will be made against that backdrop. So he's looking at the players, he's looking at the summer signings, he's looking at what he needs to bring in the summer if players decide to move on. I'm not sure how long Hart's contract was, if it was a 1 or 2 year a 2 or 3 year contract, but the fact that the manager is looking at that, you never know, maybe Hart would like to go back down south and try himself down south again before he retires. So on that note, let's jump over to the comment section and see what you're saying on yesterday's video. And obviously yesterday's video was all about the fact that the manager says we would hear about the striker's future on Instagram. And you can obviously see with the comments that came out today, the fact that is obviously one of the things that Ange doesn't like is the players sitting on their phones in the dressing room or on the training pitch. Anyway, as nobody really says. Let's not get twisted. GG turned down the deal. He might have thought it was short-changed. They clearly wanted more time. Problem was, he'll never be second to Kyogo. GG is an okay striker, just okay, not as clinical as Kyogo. O seems a real powerhouse. It does that. Jason goes on to say, I suggest it's Magic by Pilot a while ago. I don't think the fans oldest would remember the song. It was a great Scottish pop band. It's mad. We sing that, do we not? Anyway, Joseph said that's fine. It's 9 in a row. We won't go for the 10 for the first time. Leanne says, very sad how this has ended. Turned into a bit of a circus. I thought GG would have been a good player for Celtic a few years at least. We've seen it with players before. The players come in and I think Lowell used to be the worst for it. He would offer players something, or he would offer them a big move down south. And the fact that GG's obviously came in and expected to get a better deal than what he's got after a year being at the club. Alison Sarah Carroll says, I think he will settle in very well. I think you're talking about O there, Alison. Yeah, I think O will settle in well. Gareth says, I think that says it all about GG. Big Ange, get rid. Big Ange takes no nonsense from anyone. You're gone. That's true, and that's why the video was about today. The fact that Big Ange doesn't let players away with a lot, and it's good. You see that other side of the manager. You know, you can see the really motivational side of the manager. And Celtic have shown videos of that the motivational speeches that he does give to players. But at the other time, he is the manager, and he expects high expectations from everyone at Celtic. And then Alison goes on to say, I enjoy watching your YouTube channel. Hail, hail. So on that note, I'm going to cut the video short. Might go live after the game today. So tell me in the comments what you think the score will be today up in Perth. And on that note, have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Roll up to the party, roll up to the party.